The lantern on the small table cast long, dancing shadows across the walls of our new home. The room smelled of fresh-cut pine and beeswax. This was it, our wedding night. My husband, Samuel, sat on the edge of the bed, his back to me. I waited, my heart a frantic drum against my ribs. He didn't turn. He didn't speak. Instead, he bent down and pulled a small, dark wooden box from under the bed. I heard the tiny click of a lock. My whole life had been a straight, clear path leading to this very room. I was raised to be a good Amish wife, to be obedient, to be fruitful, to find my joy in God, family, and the hard work of the land. I knew my place in the world. I was proud of it. Samuel was a good man. Everyone said so. He was strong, quiet, and respected. Our families had been neighbors for generations. When our marriage was arranged, I was happy. I felt safe. He had kind eyes and a steady hand. During our courtship, we'd sit on the porch swing, speaking of the seasons, the crops, the future. A future that was simple, blessed, and written for us. The wedding day was a blur of prayer, food, and community. Hundreds of people, our whole world gathered to see us joined. I saw the pride in my father's face and the tears in my mother's eyes. This was the fulfillment of everything they had ever wanted for me, to be a wife, to be one half of a new Amish family. I believed our life would be a reflection of theirs. Hard, yes, but full of a deep, quiet love. A love built on shared faith and shared purpose. When we walked into our new house that night, the house his father had helped him build, I felt a sense of overwhelming peace. Finally, we were alone. Finally, our real life could begin. I watched him with the box. My breath caught in my throat. He opened the lid, and the soft lantern light fell on things I had only ever heard about in whispers. Forbidden things. It wasn't jewelry. It wasn't a family heirloom. Inside was a small plastic radio with a thin wire and tiny earpieces. There was a stack of worn books, their covers bright with colors and pictures of people from the English world, and tucked in the corner, a photograph, a glossy, sharp picture of a smiling girl with short hair and painted lips. Samuel looked over his shoulder at me, his face pale. His eyes were pleading. Don't be afraid. But I was. I was terrified. These were the tools of the outside, the temptations our elders warned us about. They were poison to a simple life. He saw the look on my face and quickly shut the box. He pushed it back under the bed. It's nothing, he whispered. Just curious things. He didn't try to touch me that night. He lay on his side of the bed, stiff and silent, a chasm of cold linen between us. I lay awake for hours, staring into the darkness. The image of that girl's smile burned into my mind. Who was she? And why did my husband keep her picture in a secret box? The next few weeks were a strange dance of silence and secrets. During the day, Samuel was the perfect husband. He worked the fields from sunup to sundown. He was respectful to my father. He prayed at meals. He fixed a loose board on the porch. To anyone watching, we were a happy new couple. But when night came, the man I knew disappeared. He would wait until he thought I was asleep, then pull out the box. I'd pretend to be sleeping, my eyes squeezed shut, and listen. He would put the tiny speakers in his ears, and a strange, distant expression would come over his face. Sometimes, a faint, tinny sound would escape. Music. Not our hymns, but fast, rhythmic songs that made my skin prickle. Other times, I'd hear the low murmur of a voice talking, and I knew he was listening to a world 1,000,000 miles away from our farm. One evening, he came home late from town. He was supposed to be picking up seed. When he came inside, he smelled wrong. Not of dust and sweat and horses, but of a sharp, clean scent I didn't recognize, like the soap the tourists sometimes used. You were gone a long time, I said, my voice small. The roads were muddy. He wouldn't look at me. That night, I found money hidden in his work boots. Not just a few dollars. It was a thick roll of bills. More money than a man like him should have. The fear in my chest grew cold and heavy. Where was he going? Where did he get that money? The secret started to feel like a third person in our marriage, a ghost that sat between us at the dinner table and lay between us in our bed. I was living in a state of constant, quiet dread. A knock at the door made me jump. The sight of his father's buggy coming up the lane sent a wave of panic through me. One night, he did something different. He didn't put the earphones in. He held the little radio out to me. "Just listen," he urged, his voice a low whisper. "It's beautiful." I shook my head, my whole body trembling. It felt like he was handing me a serpent. He saw my fear, and his face hardened. He was two different people, the gentle Amish farmer and this restless stranger with haunted eyes. And I was married to both of them. The breaking point came on a cold, moonless night. The wind was howling outside, rattling the windows. He hadn't touched the box in days. I had almost allowed myself to hope that it was over, that he had chosen our life. He sat on the bed, but this time he faced me. The lantern light carved deep shadows under his eyes. He looked older. He looked broken. "Anna," he said, and my name sounded strange in his mouth. He never used my name. "I have to tell you something." I waited, my hands clenched in my lap. I thought he was going to confess. I thought he was going to ask for forgiveness, to throw the box in the fire and beg God to cleanse our home. "I have been saving money," he said, his voice flat, "for a bus ticket." The room went silent, except for the wind. "I can't do this," he continued, looking not at me, but at the wall behind me. "This life, it isn't mine." He finally met my eyes, and what I saw there was not regret, but a wild, desperate hunger. A hunger for something I couldn't even imagine. Then he said the words that shattered everything. "Come with me." My world, which had been a straight, clear path, splintered into 1,000 pieces. He was asking me to leave, to abandon my family, my faith, my home, to throw away my soul for a world I was taught to fear, with a man who was a stranger, to run away, with him. I stared at him, the man I had vowed to honor and obey, my husband, and I felt nothing but a cold, hollow abyss opening up inside me. I saw my mother's face, my father's, the faces of everyone I had ever known. "No," I whispered. The word felt like a stone in my mouth. "I can't." His face didn't change. He just gave a small, tired nod, as if he expected it. As if he already knew. The hope didn't die in his eyes, because it was never for me. It was for a life without me. The days that followed were unbearable. The silence in our house was no longer tense. It was dead. We were two ghosts in a home that had never been a home. We performed our lives for the community. We smiled, we worked, we prayed. But the moment we were alone, the masks came off. We were enemies. I lived in a constant state of fear. Every time a horse and buggy turned up our lane, I thought it was an elder coming to question us. Every time he was a minute late from the fields, I thought he was gone. I felt betrayed. He had not just lied to me, he had made a mockery of our vows, of our faith. He had stood before God and our families and promised me a life he had no intention of living. I would look at him across the dinner table and feel a rage so profound it scared me. And under the rage, there was something else, a deep, aching shame. The shame of what would happen to me when he left. I would be the abandoned wife, a living symbol of failure, a woman with a story she could never, ever tell. Then, one morning, it happened. I woke up to the gray light of dawn, and the other side of the bed was empty. It was cold to the touch. I knew, even before I got up, I knew. His work clothes were still on the chair. His boots were gone. The wooden box from under the bed was gone. On the kitchen table was a single piece of folded paper, not a letter, just a note, 4 words. "I am sorry, Anna." I took the note outside to the burn barrel. I struck a match and watched my name curl into black ash and disappear on the wind. There was no body, there was no funeral, there was only the gaping hole he left behind. I had to build a story, a lie to protect myself. I told my family he went west, to Ohio, to look at a new piece of land for us. Then the letters stopped. The story became that he had simply vanished. I live in our house, my house, alone. I work the garden, I preserve the food, I go to worship. I am the quiet woman with the sad story, the wife whose husband disappeared. They look at me with pity. It's better than the truth. He took the future we were promised, but he left me with something worse, the ghost of a choice I was too afraid to make.